It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know, however, is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today, we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street, which is about a couple of blocks down. What would you say, Samantha, from Napoleon Avenue?
Yes.
You were the last person who just got... It's a long way from your house. Where do you live?
I actually live right outside of the quarters, so I walk to all my gigs.
You walk to all your gigs. This is Samantha Pearl we're listening to, who is a New Orleans musician, I suppose would be the most succinct description.
Yes.
Correct.
Full-time musician here in New Orleans. I am originally from California.
You're originally from Venice Beach, California.
Yes.
I've never seen that sentence in my life, ever. Yeah. Someone's from Venice Beach, California, and left to come to New Orleans. The only two weird places, perhaps, in America left.
Yes, that's very true. I think that's why I was attracted to this place.
I can imagine it's kind of like staying at home.
It kind of is like a home away from home.
It is. So we can find your music all over the place, right? You can steal it off of the internet and everything.
Yes.
And you play live here around. You've got the most amazing voice.
Oh, thank you.
If people listening to this or watching this on Facebook haven't seen or heard you yet, they're in for a treat. Morgan Molthrop, do you know Samantha Pearl?
I do now. I mean, we met 10 minutes ago. We're best friends now.
Okay, that's good. What are you planning to do for the rest of your lives?
Well, we're going back to Venice Beach as quickly as possible.
Getting the hell out of here. Well, it's good to see you. Morgan's been on the show a couple of times before. In fact, twice, I think. This is your third appearance.
This is my third appearance.
Or second reappearance.
It might be my...
If you were Jesus.
It might be... No, yeah, it's my second reappearance.
Is that how we would put it?
It's the trilogy.
Yeah.
It's
well, it's good to see you again. You look younger than last time. What happened to you?
It's
you
the
lose
Botox.
weight or
it's the
Botox?
No,
it's because he went back to Venice Beach, and then he decided to visit around Westwood.
There's a lot of interesting things to tell you about Morgan that he probably won't tell you himself. I'll tell you one good thing, and then I'll introduce you to Erin Casey Hangartner as well.
Yes, thank you.
What would you like to know about Morgan? One thing. When you think about modeling?
Oh, God.
Talking to this. That's my favorite story. Okay, so
that's funny.
We already did
he's done a lot of great things. But my favorite story about you is that Morgan was a Giorgio Armani model, which you think, okay, that's pretty amazing, right?
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, but wait till you hear the actual whole story. Yeah,
cool.
But he's not just a Giorgio Armani model. He was Giorgio Armani, not the label, but the person. Giorgio Armani's personal model. Isn't that a great story?
It was Yves Saint Laurent, but we'll go with Giorgio Armani. I did an Armani show, but it was Yves Saint Laurent that we did.
Yves Saint Laurent suit
I
model.
was his fit model, is what they call that.
Now
how about that?
Back then, I had the perfect dimensions.
How much different did you look?
Well, I mean, I guess about 30 years younger. I don't know, 25, whatever.
But were you slimmer or taller or what?
Probably about 6 pounds lighter.
That's all.
Yeah.
You've only put on 6 pounds.
Well, it's a roving 6.
Because Erin, you've put on a lot more than that, right? You've put on a lot more than 6 pounds, right?
Oh, sweet Jesus! Did you just say that?
No. Well, you said it before, so I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't want you to not bring it up.
For anyone watching live, this is where I wear bracelets.
This is where you curse.
So you don't notice how much weight I've gained.
Is that true though? All you need to do is wear bracelets, and people don't notice how much weight you've gained. Because I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, no, it really does work.
Okay. What do they say?
Really does work.
Well, your bracelets are awesome.
Well, because everybody focuses here, and then that's why I wear ripped jeans. So you're either looking at my bracelets or my torn up knees.
Really? Now, how much?
And I need to obviously.
You don't look. I mean, you don't look like you're overweight to me. How much weight do you think you've put on?
Since when?
I don't know, since you describe yourself as someone who has to deflect attention from their weight.
Let me just say that I think if I ever met Oprah, she and I could be total besties.
Right.
Because
a lot of people think that, though.
Way up and way down.
Ah, really?
So, yeah.
Well, how much have you put on? What was the maximum?
I didn't sign up for
Not
this
how much
shit,
did you
man.
weigh, but what's the maximum amount of extra weight you put on?
Oh, probably 30 pounds.
That's not that bad.
Oh, dear God, yeah,
No,
it is.
it's not. Is it? Samantha, come on.
Hey, if it's muscle, who cares?
Oh, honey, it was not muscle.
People get very exercised about how much they weigh. I mean, 30 pounds extra is not all that much, is it?
It's actually just, I think it's more uncomfortable than anything.
Is it?
I mean, obviously I'm overweight
In the
now.
summertime,
but
it can get that way.
Yeah.
What if you lost 30 pounds, Grant? Think about it that way.
Yeah, okay. What's a good way to think about it? That's how you're thinking of it.
Wouldn't that
Well, no,
be a
here's
lot?
the thing. Go into the produce section, right, and then pick up bags of potatoes and pick up 30 pounds of potatoes. Carry that around with you.
Yeah,
So that's what you're schlepping day in and day out.
Well, that's a lot of extra
That's a
weight.
lot of starch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Then try
since what,
also
17?
wearing
30 pounds worth of
5-inch
spuds.
spiked heels with that.
Yeah. So that's really what it's like.
Yes.
So when you lose 30 pounds, it's like you can put down a 30-pound bag of potatoes and you feel well.
Kind of, sort of, but not really. But you do feel better.
Samantha, what do you do
You
for
feel wicked.
exercise?
I used to do ballet when I was in college, and I started doing hip hop when I was a kid, and so
Hip-hop.
now I do a lot of like interval training. I work out every day. I actually went to the gym before I came here.
Okay. So interval training is a good thing. I just discovered that myself. That's a great idea. You don't have to do anything except for a minute. You have to,
that's
kick
exactly.
ass for a minute, and then you can take like 5 minutes off.
Is that what you do?
I do a lot of yoga too, but yeah, I do
Are
everything.
you mindful? Do you get into the mindfulness of things?
Oh, I totally love the mindfulness of things.
If I
It's
hear
part
that
of
word
my life.
another from you guys, it's
Well, you brought it up.
I'm
Why
from,
would you
I'm
just-
from Venice Beach. I have an
know.
excuse.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm so
kidding.
tired of that word now. I got tired of it.
What made you think of it even? Just because you're sick of hearing it?
Meditation, yoga, those kinds of things. Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Yeah.
What is mindfulness in your opinion, Morgan?
I don't know. Never had it.
Samantha, what is it exactly?
Mindfulness, I
Yeah.
think it's being centered with yourself and finding balance. And when you're balanced with yourself and you feel whole, that's a perfect thing. For instance, like music and painting does that for me. Music brings me love, and painting brings me peace.
See, my point exactly.
Mine too. That's safe. Yeah.
Well, I don't think anything's wrong with either peace or love, do you?
Not at all.
What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
Nothing at all is funny.
That
about
is my
it.
yin and yang, though, in my heart, for sure.
But mindfulness does not involve, there's nothing to do with your mind when you're talking about peace or love. It's the opposite, in fact.
It's more of your soul, I think. At least that's the way I kind of see it. Mindfulness has it's kind of a blending of the brain and the heart and the soul all
whatever
together.
your journey
It's being
is.
in tune.
Whatever your journey is right for your mindfulness.
Yeah,
that's
your
all.
journey, your Def Leppard, whatever.
Well, what about being your best self?
Right, or in the moment. We're in
All
the moment right now.
So you're very cynical and jaded
I'm
about all
totally
this.
cynical. I'm a writer. What can I tell you?
Really? Well, what are you writing?
I'm writing my first novel, which makes me extremely cynical right now. But
Well,
I've written
that's a lot of work, right?
7 books.
You've written 7 books.
7 books. So really, it means that every book that I've written, I come on the show every other book.
Right. Well, the last time you were on this show, you were working on something to do with Alexander the Great.
Right, which I'm still working on. But since then, I did fiction. I've done 2 fiction books since then. One of them has been turned into a cookbook, which is great. I don't cook, which is interesting. But
Someone else turned your novel into a.
well, no, it wasn't a novel. It was nonfiction. Sorry.
What was it?
It's called Creole, of course, and it's the story of New
Right.
Orleans
Right.
food through different epics.
Oh, that's
And they put in, this is great when
It's
you
like
put
the history of our cuisine here.
right. And so I did the history
Good
part.
thinking.
A chef put in the recipes, and then kind of looks like I did the recipes. I
So
didn't.
the detail and technical stuff.
So doesn't it say written
like
by
that.
you and somebody else?
No, I got the money.
Are you serious? The chef who gave you the recipes doesn't get a credit?
They didn't.
You could go to hell for that. Or
might.
court.
I mean, they're better that way because somebody, who actually knows what they're doing put the recipes in there.
Yeah,
That
but
was a good
wouldn't
thing.
that person want to get a credit? I mean, wouldn't it look better if it was
They
by
didn't sign
Who
the
is it?
contract that way.
Yeah, because that person needed a
He's
good
probably
lawyer.
watching
They're
this
gone.
right now.
Is
and
this
it's
somebody?
Like,
Yeah.
No, this is her favorite show, actually.
I can't believe you would rip someone off like that. That's
I'm not
cra-
ripping anybody off. I'm not publishing it. Someone else is publishing it. It's all off my
Okay.
shoulders, my friend. So
Okay.
Whoever
the
it
other
is,
one
call
is.
me next time. I can represent you.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
you're an attorney.
Are you a
Right.
creative? Do you do creative law?
I do. I've done some, but mostly I'm a business litigator.
There you go.
So, but I mean, you really have to be creative there as well. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but if you're a litigator, you've got to be creative. You've got to be able to think on your feet. You've got to be able, if anything, to really tell a story.
Sure.
So I love being in court. Started out as a prosecutor at Tom at Graham.
That's our producer, Graham DePonte.
So yeah.
Is this your lawyer, Graham?
No, Graham DePonte's not my lawyer. Graham DePonte's our producer. I know it's confusing.
I don't know. Graham.
And that's Graham and Graham. I know.
I don't
it's
even drink
super
anymore.
confusing.
Graham female.
Yeah. Yeah,
You should probably
Graham
put
is.
some vodka in there. You'd probably
It
do
is.
better.
It's pure vodka, actually.
Oh,
That's
nice.
nice. Yeah, that's a
I
lot
vouch
of
you.
not,
booze.
it's not.
So, You have your own law firm, though, right? So
I
you can
do.
represent whoever you want.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what does business litigation refer to? People who have a business?
Usually, different businesses, corporations, kind of small, medium, and large. We also represent individuals, but there are things that we don't do, like we don't do divorce, we don't do bankruptcy, we don't do like intellectual property. There are things that you just don't stray into unless you really
Right.
know. If not, you're what I call walking malpractice. So
what do you do? So what kind of people come to you? Typically.
people who own businesses, people who own real estate a little bit. We represent some public entities.
So this is
And-
all sort of clean stuff. You don't have crimes or criminals or... You're
No,
not in
I don't do any
court?
criminal defense. I actually started off as a prosecutor in Orleans Parish. That's how I met Graham. So I
Right.
was never able to kind of cross over that fence and be a defense attorney because I just couldn't. Like I could never imagine cross-examining one of my police officers because in New Orleans everybody's mine, right? Boo, bay, and
So you were in the DA's office as what? As an attorney?
as an attorney,
As a prosecutor?
I was a prosecuting attorney. Yeah,
For how long?
I was there I was actually a law clerk in strike force for about three plus years.
Strike force.
Was it during the
Strike-
scandal years? Oh,
It
I'm
was
sorry.
the-
All the years are scandal years.
Strike force. What is
I was a
that?
violent offender strike force at the time. And then
Violent
I
offender strike
graduated
force.
from law school and then went
Write
to
that
juvenile
down.
and then went
Write
to the
that
trials
down.
division.
Sorry, that's not even my next
wow.
novel. Violent Offenders
Yeah.
Strike
I know.
Force.
We have to stop right there. What is the violent offenders?
Violent
strike?
offender strike force actually was still in place when I left. I was transferred into the violent offender strike force.
You were a member of the violent offenders strike force.
Correct.
Can you just say that as a sentence?
I was a member of the violent offender strike force.
Wow, nice.
So you got
right?
the
That's
really
a-
nasty things. You got the files that were really large and had been overlooked for a long time, or
Well, I have to interrupt you again. What the hell is the violent offenders strike force?
it was the unit within the DA's office where the older files or the more complex files were kind of funneled up. So you were, for lack of a better term, you were a specialty prosecutor. So I did a good number of cases that involved, unfortunately, small children. So you,
In what
for
sense?
We're
Is
getting
it-
dark now.
So what sense
Yeah,
is that
so-
unfortunate? Small children who are criminals or small children who'd got beaten up by violent
No,
offenders?
I mean, wow, we could really go to the sad place here. In juvenile, there were the children who were unfortunately within the system that were violent.
So you're
but when I-
prosecuting children?
That was when I was in juvenile, but it's a different level
Surprised
of
you're not
prosecution.
an alcoholic
if
or a
you
drug
will.
addict. You were
Well, who said I was?
you were prosecuting children. Are you serious? Is that a
No.
job?
When I was in juvenile court, I prosecuted children, but it's a different level of prosecution. So what you were really trying to do is get these kids into what then was called a FINS program, which is a family in need of services.
This is great.
So it was more of you weren't prosecuting, you were trying to intervene at a very early level.
That's a nice way of putting it.
And well, and it's unfortunately the saddest thing about juvenile court is you see these young kids who, especially the ones who are kind of caught into or been arrested for a sexual offense, and then you
How
look at
old
the
are we-
familial.
How old are we talking about? Like 5 or something?
No. Older than that. I would say anywhere between 10 to maybe 15. But then you look at the family history, and they too have been a victim of sexual violence or family violence.
Wow.
So it's this vicious, horrible cycle
So
that repeats itself.
Some kid who's been a victim of sexual violence before the age of 10 and has already perpetrated. Usually you think of that's an excuse, not an excuse. That's a reason for someone later in life to say, I'm a violent offender because I had a terrible childhood.
Well, the
not
sad
during
thing
your
is
actual childhood.
Yeah, well, the sad thing is there were a number of kids that I saw in juvenile court who were given probation, and I'm not saying that was wrong. It was the fair thing to do at the time. We really tried to get them help, put them in the FINS program. But then I saw a number of them when I was in, like I call big court, and was in the trials division, and they showed up there for a murder, a rape. So it's
So it didn't work, the FINS program, in other words.
it does work, but not all the time, unfortunately.
What percentage of kids does it work on?
I honestly don't know. That's static. That's static. I don't know.
Statistic. C-Rock can find that out for us, probably.
Yeah, but
Jesus Christ,
it
what a
was
gig.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, that must have been horrible. 3 years of that.
Well, the juvenile part was only the very beginning. It's once I got into big court, as I call it, Tulane and Broad, then it was all adults. But I did a lot of rapes, murders, more higher level offenses kind of as I progressed.
So you're prosecuting these people, you're not defending people. You're
I was
prosecuting
a
people
prosecutor, and that's how I know Graham, because we were assigned to the same section of court.
She was in
and
the
she was the defense, correct.
So you became friends with Graham.
Correct.
She was defending rapists, and you were prosecuting them. Interesting way to meet somebody.
Well, do you have to be friendly at court?
I guess everyone has to get along. That's the justice
right.
system for you.
I mean, you might get Judge Judy, so, you know.
Have you been arrested, Morgan, ever?
Never. I'm so lucky not
got
to have
away
been,
with
because
a
there
lot
have
of
been
stuff.
plenty of times I know to tell you. Yeah.
And Samantha, you're living in the quarter.
Yes.
And you lived on Venice Beach, which is the home
You could
of...
get arrested for living in the quarter.
Well, I don't know. People like me in the quarter. Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody
I feel
knows
like.
you. You're right. Hey,
So-
well, I have to make you play something. So
Yeah,
that people can
definitely.
get a listen to what you sound like, so we can continue the conversation after that. So you have a beautiful red guitar here, I see.
Yes.
Is there a story behind that? It looks really amazing.
Yes, I actually got it at Bywater Music over in the Bywater. I've had such an issue with buying guitars here in New Orleans, and I finally found one that I just ran into. And she is, I named her Passion, and she's going
Passion,
to
the
be
guitar.
touring in Germany with me this summer.
Love it.
You're going on the road to Germany.
Yeah, I'm playing in like 5 different cities, and then I'm also going to be playing with some friends in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
But I'm recording a record that I'm going to be releasing before I leave in July. And I'm going to be doing my tour solo. I've played all over this country by myself, and I'm ready to try to do that in another country.
Yes.
But I'm
How
going
did
to come
you-
back home, though.
How did you put that? You're not leaving us forever. Just for
Home
a
New
tour.
Orleans or
Yeah, I was about
home
to
the
say.
United States of America?
Home as New Orleans.
Okay.
As
Good.
long as New Orleans is here, I'm going to
love
be
this.
coming back here. But I would not mind trying to extend to see how much I could build my own freedom as an artist by seeing what I have to do to get an artist visa in Germany. Because I know you do have to save about like $8,000 in American dollars and have a residency
Are
over
you
there.
serious? You have to show up with $8,000?
8,000 American dollars. But like, I'm not at that point yet, but I want to see if for going for a month to Europe by myself, if I would actually want to invest in doing that, which I kind of want to do just to see if I could do it.
What about at Kickstarter?
Yeah.
We could
We'll
raise
go fund her.
$8,000. Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Don't you think?
Do like 8 of these shows ought to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could get you $1,000.
Really?
You think? Like another drink? No
If you
You're allowed
guys did
to
that,
ask.
I'd get
trying
you
to
guys a
flex on
record. Because I'm
yeah.
actually
How-
putting my next.
no,
I'm doing
just mention us in your record.
Where did you get this number of $8,000 from?
Because other people have told me you've gotten
I wonder
artist
if it's
visas
true
in
just
Germany.
because someone tells you that, though.
Well, I'll tell you when I get back. How about you just put me back on the show when I come back
Right,
from Germany?
okay, we
That's
can do
easy
that.
enough.
Okay,
I like
so
that.
what about the microphone placement here with this situation?
Yeah, and they got
What do you
to
think?
up over here.
We have to be able to. Should we move this mic over to on the floor or
It's
something?
in the sing-along, right?
Not your one, this one.
It's not a sing-along.
Yes, you can sing along.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I think for the first one, I'm going to do I'd Rather Go Blind by Etta James, and then I'll play you guys an original after. That's going to be on my next record that I'm recording here in New Orleans, which will be more of my jazz stuff that I do, because I play soul, blues, and jazz. And I am diving in different parts of the city because it's like a melting pot of music here and
Well,
culture.
you've totally lost that California accent, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Have you noticed that, Morgan?
I did.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the best. It's a great city for musicians, so glad you're here.
Okay. That sounds good.
Can you turn it up a little?
Priscilla's texting you,
Oh,
by
God.
the way.
You look beautiful.
Oh, she can see you. You do look
can
beautiful.
see me.
That's good.
I'm so glad
You
I
do
touched
look
that,
Turn it up
gorgeous.
a little more, actually. Hey, can you turn it up a little more? Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. Something told me it was over when I saw you and that girl talking. something deep down in my soul. Said, cry, girl. When I saw you and that girl, walking out. Now I'd rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. So you see, I love you so much that I don't know why'd you leave me, baby. No. And most of all, I just don't want to be free, no. I was just sitting there thinking of your kiss, your warm embrace, the reflection in the glass that I held to my lips now, baby, with these tears rolling down my face. And baby, oh baby, where there go blind boy. Then you see you walk away, then you see you walk away from me. And baby, oh, where there go blind boy. Then you see you walk away, oh, then you see you walk away from me. Oh, thank you.
Goodness.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Wow. What did I
I
tell
want to
you?
be you when I grow up.
That is just staggering, isn't it, Morgan?
It's rocking.
I mean, New York City.
Oh, really? You think so?
I think so.
What about New York City?
I just said it.
You were
I've
just
played in New York before. I've street performed, and I made like $400 and took a bus back to Virginia.
And so there is your $8,000 waiting for you right there.
I
mean,
make
that's the
a lot
answer.
here, though, too, though, as
But
an artist.
You
'cause
play
I
on the street.
I play on the street and I play in gigs. I have no shame because I got put in a Southern Comfort commercial street performing.
Right.
Hey, share your
Yeah.
music wherever you can.
I've actually gotten 3 commercials since I've played on the street, and this has been all over the country. So when people look at me and be like, "Why are you playing on the street?" I'm like, I don't know. Why do you only rely on playing in bars? Because as an artist, you know, it's like a survival tool. But as a musician, you're like you're like a hired gun. So it's like the leadership and being like a sideman is different. So when you learn to do both, as an artist, you like know how to build like your own life for yourself. And
I think that's exactly right. Absolutely.
I have a lot of friends who struggle with that because they've been sidemen their whole lives. So when I was younger, I'm really blessed for the fact that I started touring at a very young age. Mm-hmm. But I grew up I started going to college when I was like 15 because I took art classes outside of school, and then I did homeschool, and I graduated about 6 months earlier than I was supposed to because I liked working, and I was like, wow, you can really make this much money at my age? This is crazy. And then I was playing my guitar constantly, and so when I wasn't at school, I was like, hey, I'm just going to turn in my work because I don't want to put in the hours here because I've got other things I need to do. And they were like, fine, because they knew it wasn't going to be any other way for me to graduate.
Right.
So I just and now too, when I come back from Germany, I am taking some more classes when I go back to college, but I'm doing it in a way of how I'm gracefully learning as I'm growing. So
Why do you want to go back to college?
I go back briefly in parts of my life because it's been kind of like a pattern of my growth as an artist. Because there's always extensions and goals that I'm reaching for myself once I reach new ones. So after I travel in a country by myself, I want to see what I could do up here if I'm going to be here. Mm-hmm. So it's like I want to grow up here as much as I do as I spread my music everywhere.
There aren't many people who are real musicians like you, though.
Thank you.
You can actually play the guitar.
Ah, thanks.
I mean, with feeling and technically correct and interesting choices about what you're playing. And,
yeah.
I mean, you're a real musician.
Thank you. And another thing, too, with street performing is the moment I started at Santa Monica Promenade in California.
Oh,
3rd Street?
Yeah, 3rd Street.
Sea Rocks from out
So
there.
my place is the Crepe Place. If you go, I go every year, at least for a month, and I play in front of the Crepe Place, and it's the only spot I'll play. And it's great, though, because I learned from street performing. I'm like, man, you can practice in your room by yourself all you want, but you can also practice outside. And so I created this habit through doing it, like second nature now. So I'm like, I'm getting paid to practice because America's not paying me enough to be a musician. So that's why
You regard it as performing on the street as practice, as rehearsal.
No, of
Yeah,
course.
I
mean, it makes total sense. It's like
I write all my music on the street too. I didn't write that one, but I practiced that one on the street.
And it seems
right.
like you're also exposing people to your music who normally, may not be in a particular bar or somewhere.
Yeah, if no one's gonna promote your stuff, the only person that is going to is yourself. So it's like you could be the artist that gets signed, but then you're gambling so much of your career with it just plateauing the moment you do. Because I've had offers, and the thing is, I just never liked how people approached me about it because they either don't fall through, they're not serious enough, or they expect something else out of me as a female. So I just I have my standards, and so if there's somebody who's wanting to make me be like, hey, are you like gonna record my record? Because I'm like just thinking to myself, I could just play on the street and make enough money too, and that's what exactly I did for this record on Mardi Gras Day.
Yeah.
So.
Or they want you to play what they want. In other words, they want to dictate your career and direct your career. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're wise beyond your years.
Thank you.
So, going in and doing what you want to do and really charting your own course.
Yeah.
And going forward on your own path is just, it's huge.
Well, what do you want to do? Do you have a plan, or are you just sort of winging it day by day?
No, I have a plan. I think, to be
What's the
honest,
plan?
everyone tells me I think too far ahead. But
Okay.
the reason why
You
I do
can
that
never
is
think far enough ahead, honey.
But
What's the overall plan then? What's the end
So
goal?
just to create extensions of what I'm doing. So as more if I explore the arts and music, I do want to become more educated with what I'm doing. And I could see myself as I grow older to like even being in my older years, a part of my life being like some kind of professor that can like teach like music and art therapy. I do teach children creative writing. And they also do Skype lessons with me from different states in the country.
Okay. Are you still using Skype?
Yeah, I use Skype for
I can't seem to get
guitar
Skype
lessons.
to work anymore. Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
You teach guitar on Skype?
Yeah, I have a great student actually in Virginia, and she's like a little mini me. She like is homeschooled, and she's like, all right, I'm ready, and she's like so strong, and she's awesome.
Okay, so give us a lesson. What do you teach? How do you teach people to play like you?
Well, for me, it's the way how I teach is I try to pull their creativity out because I get students who want to learn covers, and they go,
Right.
so what do you want to sing about? So it's more about pulling something out of here for them to put it onto here, and then I teach them like brief chord progressions, like some jazz chord progressions that I've learned in my early years. So like, and I've written songs out of those too. This
Okay.
is the 1526.
Can you play some of that behind me while I talk about some commercial products here for
Sure.
1 minute? Okay, perfect. And we'll come back and then we're going to talk about getting sober in New Orleans.
Oh,
How about that for a
we have to
subject?
do that.
Yeah, we do.
I need to know.
Hey, Happy Hour today is brought to us by Basics Swim and Gym, where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style. You can get yourself a bikini, a one-piece, a cover-up. In fact, everything you need for beach and poolside is at Basics Swim and Gym, which is right next to Basics, underneath the lingerie store on Magazine Street, right by Jefferson Avenue in Uptown. This sounds so nice. Also, thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you go to the Hangover Destroyer website, it's hdestroyer.com, and you write the words Happy Hour in the coupon code, you'll get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer, so you too can seize the dawn. And thank you to Louisiana Legs, who make workout and yoga clothes with designs that incorporate photographic art, like Mardi Gras beads, boiled crawfish, wrought iron in France, and caves in China. What are you trying to do there, Erin?
Yoga.
Oh, yoga. You can find Louisiana Legs on Facebook and Instagram, and you can buy Louisiana Legs on Etsy. And if you'd like to support this show, Happy Hour, go to patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. You can give us as little as $1 a month, and for that you get to be on the show. How about that? How much are you paying to be on here today?
Oh God, I paid
a lot more than $1.
$8,000. I paid $8,000
just to get into the country.
Could have given it to her.
Right.
She could have gone to
And
Germany.
you wasted $8,000 on this, where you could have gone to patreon.com and spent only as little as $1 a month, and you too can be on the show, and you can hawk anything you want on here. It's a pretty good deal, actually. Hey, Samantha Pearl, that was beautiful. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that.
And you just did a commercial.
So easy, isn't it?
That's a
It makes it
commercial
look
gig.
so easy. Look at Graham DePonte, our producer, looking very elegant over
She
here.
does look amazing.
Okay, so I
I did
wondered,
one for a debt consulting commercial, and it was the funniest thing in the world.
which one?
I did it for a debt consulting commercial.
Debt.
I made a commercial for it. It was a mother that was really frustrated. She couldn't buy her daughter like toys and ice cream.
So it's like,
It was like, when I see you later today. Like, it was like, and I did one for an electric wheelchair that's like,
the hover around thing?
no, the Zinger chair.
How did it go? Can you do that one?
The Zinger chair will take you there. The Zinger chair will take you just about anywhere. The Zinger chair will take you there.
I think it's a metaphor.
I would like to get a Zinger chair.
I feel
What
like
are
I
they-
know someone
Everyone
the
has a
commercial-
Zinger chair, whether it's illegal or whatever.
The
is
commercial
the
is that couple riding into the sunset onto a dock on a beach with their Zinger chairs.
Yeah,
better than the
right
idiots
into
in
the
the
water.
two
probably.
bathtubs.
How does, yeah, the two
I
bathtubs
know, I
from
cannot
Cialis.
stand that. Oh my God.
Yeah, but
Get
it
in the
look-
same bathtub if you're
Right.
gonna do
so,
it.
right. So you take the little pill, whatever color it is, and you're in separate bathtubs. Hello, do you wonder why it's not working?
You know what?
Why do we all remember it, though?
Because it's god awful.
But
here's
that's
the
gotta
thing: I
be
don't
working.
think anybody remembers the brand.
The brand is Cialis.
Yeah, totally Cialis.
Yeah.
Well,
Xerox-
Mint
even Xerox
remember
knows.
this.
Let me go.
Xerox
let
genitals
you
are
know.
working
Cialis,
great.
is there anything that we'd like to share at
Let you know
this
that.
point?
Oh well, I mean, you use it when you don't have to. I mean, you want
Just
to
for
try?
fun.
I mean, yeah, why not?
You get an
I mean,
erection for 4 hours.
No, 4 is that's it.
Isn't that what it says? It says if
apparently,
you-
We'll
it
call the
goes.
doctor if it's
If it's-
longer than that.
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah, I mean, and the doctor's like, yeah,
That'd be the
give me a
last
call
person.
if it's longer. than that.
I think he's a frequent flyer in the ER. Oh, here comes Tent Boy again.
But the good thing is we
Yeah.
all remember
Oh,
that
the
Cialis
days.
commercial, and I've never heard of Zinger chairs even. Have you? Had you
Well,
heard
it's
of them
in 16
before?
different countries.
There you
Wow,
go.
There you go. I wonder
And he
what
like lived in Richmond, Virginia, and his warehouse where they like build a lot of them in the States was like an hour from there.
Wow.
So it was random. He's
How
like,
did you get hooked up with Zinger?
I was playing on the street in Richmond, Virginia, in Carytown, and he goes, "Hey, do you wanna like write me a little jingle?" And I was like, "This guy's full of it, whatever."
Right.
Then I called him, and he's like, "Hey, just pick up. I'll give you a deposit today. Just send me over a rough recording of it." And then I went over to his place, and he gave me half the pay then, and then he gave me the rest of it when I finished it. So he was like legit, and he was also like getting into real estate. So he was like rebuilding a house right off of that Cary Street, which is like the famous little area in Richmond.
Was he single as well?
He had a dog.
Did he take Cialis?
Not sure. Yeah. That sounds like a sort of a great
Did he have
story. Did
two
you?
bathtubs?
Yeah, but I'm
you
very
sure that's
smart with
water?
knowing when to like actually
Draw the
invest,
line.
to
Right.
see if like I'm running into some trouble there. So
What percentage of times does this not pan out? That's a good story, but have there been others that haven't panned out? Is
all
that-
the time, and I usually just brush it off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can tell when someone's serious about investing in me. It's like they go, "Hey, I've got some like recording stuff," and they like tip me with a business card instead of tipping me with like $50 or $100. Like there's a difference between
Right.
how people talk and show their actions, because actions speak louder when it comes to like wanting to have an introduction of business and the way how people approach me. So there are people that I will take the time to actually get to know, even when I'm playing and I'm out like kind of working. But I do draw the line because I could just tell when I'm just wasting my time.
Right, you can tell that pretty quick. Have you ever thought about being an artist manager, Erin?
I have now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can
I'll
see.
be giving her my card.
Well,
I
no,
don't have
give her the
$50
card.
to
50,
tip.
and we're going
Yeah,
to
give her
minutes.
$50. if
Okay,
you
I have
wanna
a
give
bank
us-
card. There has to be a Whitney around here somewhere. So, you know.
Have you thought about being? I mean, you'd be a great manager. Have you got a manager?
No, I
Samantha?
don't, and I'm at the point where I need one because I do everything myself, and I do a
I'd
lot.
absolutely love to be. I'd be honored to.
I think you'd be good. Erin, I tell you, I have no reason. I don't know you at all, but
Well, thanks. That's really sweet.
you're the kind of
I
person
am trying to get into the festivals, that's for sure. For the past 5 years, I came here with just my acoustic guitar and $10 in my pocket, and one night paid at a
$10.
hotel. And when I got to the quarter, this is my story of my first time ever being here, not knowing a
You
single
don't even
person.
need a publicist. This is a
So
great
I had
story.
$2 left to put in my case because I spent $8 on the cab ride from where I was staying at, and literally I made $160 within the first 2 hours, playing right by Hard Rock Cafe on Bourbon Street. And after that, I went to bars and I was like, all right, I'm looking for a gig. I went in with my guitar like a suitcase.
You got balls,
And-
girl.
Where were you staying when you first? Where did you come from?
Venice Beach. I got a
You just-
one-way ticket.
You got
after,
a one-way ticket to New Orleans from Los
yeah,
Angeles.
and I did. I traveled for a whole year, doing my own thing, and I played in D.C., in Virginia, in New York. But I got to see the country in a different way from not being a sideman, because I've played in 5 different countries with other female rock bands before, and I still the satisfaction from doing your own thing is just. It's so much more fulfilling. It doesn't matter how hard it is for me. It literally is just way more worth it.
Very
I completely
interesting.
understand that one.
Yeah. Okay, listen to what Morgan's up to right now. If
Yeah.
you're looking for a challenge.
He's looking
This
for
is
it.
this is the
Right
most
now.
challenging thing. This is one of the funniest things I've read in a long time.
Okay.
Your new company called Soberleans.
So yeah. I go into places like Wayfare, and I
Check this out.
and I say, we help them look at their menus and their offerings to make sure that people who are who are in recovery basically have options.
Right.
Because a lot of times people who, if they're alcoholics and they're trying to go to a restaurant with friends or whatever, they feel very much like there's nothing there for them. And they want to go out, they want to have a good time with their friends, and so a place like this has really a great option.
So this is a niche market, or this is people who are in recovery from alcohol and drug addiction.
No, it's not just a niche market; it's an enormous market. Actually.
Is it?
Yeah. And we have a lot of restaurants. They
People-
don't care about it so much in New Orleans. It's big in Los Angeles. It's big in New York, etc.
Oh, so you're trying to-
They all kind of came down here, so we're starting to focus on it a lot more here. And
So you're launching this here, but you're going to do this in other places?
yeah, I mean.
Sort of Sober LA, that would make a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
we
perhaps.
bought all the names for a lot
Have
of
you?
these, so
You
it's,
bought
it's the
Sober LA
consulting
dot-
aspect of this is enormous because people don't know how to deal with people in recovery. They get
Right.
afraid of it. They think they don't want to have a good time, but if they come into a commander's palace and Commander's Palace already knows that this group is from Soberleans or whatever, then they will be able to. Commander's Palace will be able to say, "Oh, here are your options. We have a milk punch for you. Blah 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 blah. We have our caliber,
Right.
and today we have our special turtle soup a la non-alcoholic sherry or whatever."
And how are you
whatever.
making any money out of that?
It's a consulting fee. It's a consulting business.
Okay.
So there are different levels of consulting depending on whether they want to take a smaller bite or a larger bite in that situation.
So is it aimed at mostly people who are already living in New Orleans, who are in recovery and want to go out to a bar, to happy hour?
Yeah,
you, sitting here having a glass of water.
So, yeah, I mean, people. New Orleans is a city full of amazing things to do, and there's this opinion among people that are in recovery. There's nothing to do here, which is absolutely asinine. There's so many things to do here. It's amazing.
Everything here is related to alcohol.
Well, it's not true.
Okay.
Everything here is
I say
related
it
to
is
food
true.
and
Let's
history.
take a vote.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the total pud right now because I looked across to him when we first sat down and I was like, oh, it's that vodka. And he's like, no, water. And I was like, come on, get a drink. I'm so sorry now. I feel horrible.
No, you hear that all the time.
Why would people?
Yeah, I just
why wouldn't I want you to have a good
literally
time? You see, that's the whole thing, and that's the other part of it is helping people understand that people that are in recovery don't care about what you're doing in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. It doesn't have anything to do with. We want you to have a good time because you don't have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So,
To each
I,
their
almost,
own.
I wish there was kind of not a road marker, but something that would let me know not to make a total ass out of myself. And
Well, if you
make
could
me
wear,
feel
if you could
uncomfortable.
wear like a yellow
I
star
come in
or
here
something.
all the time, and I would feel more uncomfortable if you didn't, actually.
That actually makes me feel much better.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like
And that's what
being
people
a
don't
vegetarian, too.
understand is that it's not about, it's about whatever. Yeah, it's like I'm choosing not to, to abstain. That doesn't have anything to do with anyone else's stuff. And a lot of people, they need to understand that. It makes them.
Well, but you're saying, Erin, it makes you feel uncomfortable that someone's not drinking.
Oh, no, not at all. I have a number of friends who do not drink, who have been through recovery, are still in recovery. As they say, it's always one day at a time. It's just I kind of felt stupid because, I've never met him before, right? And I sit down, and the first thing I said is, "Where's your drink?" Right?
Raging alcohol. No, but that was other drugs.
And then as I'm flagging the waitress down, like,
well,
I need another vodka tonic.
Well, you do.
See, this is the quintessential reason why it's important to have this kind of show, because then that just happened. If it didn't happen, we wouldn't have a conversation about it. It happens in life all of the time when people don't know how to handle those types of situations.
Yeah.
Acceptance of individuality.
And so what? The truth of the matter is you talk about it and you say, oh, well, and then you get over it. It's not a big deal. If you make it a big deal for people, then it makes them uncomfortable. So
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, obviously my takeaway from this is once you make the comment and you go, yeah, it's just water, I need to shut my mouth.
No, you can.
No, but it's, and again, I totally, I admire you to be able to say no and done. But I'm just thinking, I don't even know how to put this. I guess my takeaway from this is ask the question once and then get the clue, which clearly I missed.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. I think you did. There's no wrong way to do anything in these situations. This is a social situation. The truth of the matter is this: many people who drink, they drink because they want to feel more comfortable in a social situation. So you take that away from somebody, and they're in recovery, and so now, me, the person who's not drinking, has to be in a situation where everyone else is able to do that and I can't anymore. So the more you ask those questions, the higher up it gets to the anxiety of the other person has a little more anxiety with regard to
I'm
that.
just going to make everybody feel better right now.
Graham,
there you go.
our producer Graham finally has her own hip flask. This is a bar. You
And
can
we
get a
wonder
drink,
why Graham and I are friends.
Graham, I don't even
the
pay
more
for
you're-
drinks,
She
Graham.
breaks out her
See,
glass.
and the more you're relaxed about it, the better it is for everybody. Because who cares?
Well, I'm totally
Right,
cool.
exactly.
I didn't want to make you feel bad.
And that's the problem.
That's the thing.
But
That's
what's
the
interesting
problem.
to me here?
Exactly.
I feel like you may have winced at some point. Like, why doesn't she just shut up and not?
No, I think you're being hypersensitive about it. You've had too much to drink.
Oh, God. No,
It's like
That's
one and a
hilarious.
half.
I'm going to have a
But
vodka
I'm
right now.
telling you
I'm going to
something.
fall off the
I'm
wagon
an
on this.
experienced
This is
professional,
a very
honey.
difficult
I'm trying to
city.
say no.
This is a very difficult city to not
Yeah,
drink.
seriously.
in. 'Cause don't you think?
No, as a
Samantha,
musician, I promised myself that I wouldn't move here unless if I could deal with living in the chaos. And the chaos here of the nonstop energy is what kind of grounds me to where I go to the gym every day instead of drink every day.
Right.
So it's it's a little different. But
As
I do
made
see.
you get a
can
glass
This
go
is
to-
wine.
yeah.
You
This
can
is
do both.
every
You
once
can
in
go
a
to
while.
the gym and have a drink. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Especially the New Orleans Athletic Club has a bar.
There's a bar in it.
Does
Yeah.
it really? Oh
That's
my
the
god.
only reason I joined. I paid $500 a year for one visit.
So you
per
can go to the
year.
bar.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
you
I
can-
had I had the locker. That was the ultimate locker. It was the biggest one, and all my little stuff packed in there. And
Have you
I
ever
just-
taken your kids down to the ballpark here
I'm-
at the Carrollton Boosters, and where they play these little kids play softball and baseball and even soccer? There's a bar there for the parents.
I'm
Well, of course
procreationally
there is. It's
challenged,
uptown.
so I have nieces and nephews.
All
and,
these-
and I have done that.
I have needs right now because my book, the real project I'm working on, that's due this week, actually
This
tomorrow.
week? Holy shit.
Tomorrow, and I've got 290 of these, but the last
good that
are
you're
for
taking
you.
an hour off and hanging out with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, 300 Reasons to Love New Orleans. It's being published for the Tricentennial. Get it? 300 Reasons
Yes.
to Love New Orleans.
One
Love
for
it.
each year.
One for each year. And so I'm at 290 now, and I'm asking you guys on this show to
Wow.
give me the last 10.
Well,
and we're going to put them in the book. So
First of all,
You
I'd
got it,
like
baby.
to talk to my attorney about that. Are we allowed to do that?
He's got it,
Because
baby.
the last person that you
no.
did this deal with got no credit whatsoever.
Praline
He's
Bacon.
got it.
Praline Bacon.
Thomas
I
says
have
praline
praline
bacon.
in there, but praline bacon is
Praline bacon?
damn
Okay.
good.
All right.
Go, baby,
Does
go.
Thomas get an
No,
acknowledgement?
absolutely not. Nope.
This is a tough negotiation. Can't you help us, Erin? Okay, what's another? You got 290.
I have 290.
Samantha must have
One
a
of mine is decorating in all seasons, no matter what the season is. Like, we'll decorate
That's
for
a
anything.
good one. Okay.
I would have to say the convenience of 24-hour, of like being able to get food 24 hours a day, like at restaurants, like to go into a restaurant at 4 in the morning.
Very much.
Because you're a musician.
Where else
Yes.
is there? Where else do you go?
Maybe like I go to 13 or Turtle Bay, or I go to just like places that are open till like 4 in the morning, places that I can go to after I play a gig and get out at like 2 in the morning.
So give me a specific place that would be a reason to love New Orleans.
A reason to love New
You
Orleans?
said Turtle Bay.
Yeah, you could put Turtle Bay. I mean, they do have cheap, convenient food.
Do you have
But
big
Verdi
ass
Mart is a
beer?
big one.
I do have a big
Oh
ass
my
beer.
God.
Big ass beer
I
is
have
number
that stuff
one.
on there.
What's number one? What's the greatest
Daiquiris.
reason?
Oh, you can't do that.
Is there a number one? Is it
When
in
someone
order?
writes a
Or is
list
it,
of 300 and then gives like 4 sentences for each 300,
Yeah.
do you know how nerve-wracking that is in the first place to do the list? The
Yeah.
list was like, by 100, by 75, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's got potholes and roaches and
Okay.
mosquitoes and yellow fever.
if we
and
could come up with
I got-
10 original ones that you haven't thought of, would be a miracle. in
I've
the
got
next-
mine.
Okay,
My
go.
absolute
Okay,
number
Erin.
one.
Yeah.
What is it?
There is no place else in the United States that people call you baby girl.
Oh my
baby
God,
dolls
regularly.
and baby
No, not baby,
Baby
girl.
girl.
Baby girl. And a real quick story.
And what does that mean? I'm just kind of...
Hey, baby girl.
All right.
It's. I'll give you a real
like
quick
normal.
story, right?
And please.
After the storm, I never name her. She's a bitch. I was in Dallas through multiple different cities, but I was in Dallas. I flew back home, and the airport was completely dead. I mean, there was like no one there. And I had my laptop and I had my, luggage and everything. And the guy pulls up in this Hertz van, older guy, and he opens the door. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, he looks at me and he goes, "Baby girl, put that down." I know, I mean, you laugh. I dropped to the curb and sobbed. Because
'Cause you're hot.
no one called me baby girl.
Oh, well, okay. That's a good story.
All right,
I got
that's
it.
So
convincing.
he got out, and we sat on the curb for at least an hour,
Oh my
holding hands, crying together. That's what New Orleans is, the people.
There you go. So it's
Yeah,
it's
so
being
true.
able to understand,
In the matter of 5 minutes.
Okay, listen here, wait up. We just have to wait up for 1 sec. So we've got 2 minutes to think about this while you play a song, Samantha.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to come back after you play the song, and we're going to have complete this task for you.
All right.
Everyone's around here is going to have thought of one.
I got
Graham's
one.
got one. Oliver's got one. C-Rock's
Andrew's got
okay.
one too.
All right, hold on to that thought. What are you going to play here?
This next one's called A Thing Called Love. It's going to be on my next record that I'm recording at Music Shed, which is a studio down here in New Orleans.
Another good reason. Music Shed.
And yes, I say it's true from the way it shows. But darling, will you just hold me close? And with honesty, this love we have, something that I will never take for granted. The light at the end of the tunnel shines. Darling, where have you been all of my life? Oh, all of my life. Soon you'll see you mean the world to me. My darling, you're too good to be true. But how far would you chase me? This thing called love is not a race. But would you take this leap of faith? For this thing called love, it's worth the wait. And yes, I see it's true from the way it shows. Darling, will you just hold me close? I'm grateful for the love we have, something that I will truly never take for granted. The light at the end of the tunnel shines. Darling, where have you been all of my life? Oh, all of my life. Soon you'll see you mean the world to me, my darling. to be true. But how far would it chase me? This thing called love is not a race. But would you take this leap of fate? For this thing called love, it's worth the wait. For this thing called love, it's worth the wait. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. But how far would it chase me? This thing called love is not a race. But would you take this leap of fate? For this thing called love, it's worth the wait. For this thing called love, it's worth the wait. The light at the end of the tunnel shines. Darling, where have you been? All of my life, all of my life. So you say, you mean the world to me. My darling, you're too good to be true. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Samantha Pearl.
Thanks.
Remember, you heard it here
So
first.
I put in street performers for for another reason to love New Orleans.
What about I was thinking, what about just Samantha Pearl right there?
Yeah, well,
Amen.
yeah. I mean, that gets very specific.
Well, is it?
I mean, I could put Grant in here. I could put Happy Hour in there.
That's another good
That's a big
idea.
plug.
Well, that's on the internet, so that's not really that specific. But that was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Good job.
Oh,
Nice.
thanks.
Is it about somebody in particular?
I think it was, and then I wrote it when I found out I was going to Germany.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's
the light at the end of the tunnel is $8,000.
the light at the end of the tunnel is me seeing my goals and dreams going overseas. So yeah.
I thought it was a person. I thought it was going to be about a guy or a girl or a dog.
It is. It's a mixture of both because he is also a dream as well. Because it's a mixture of both. Because
Is it a
love,
non-existent person or an existent person?
not at the moment.
It's an
They're
idealized.
better that way.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful song. And what is the album going to be called before we move on here?
It's going to be called A Thing Called Love.
The whole album is going to be called A Thing
Yeah,
Called Love.
and it's going to
Okay.
have some jazz charts too to represent New Orleans. I'm really excited. I have some amazing musicians that are going to be on it. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to. I'm still trying to figure out if it's going to be on vinyl only, but I'm thinking about doing vinyl and just online distribution. But I want to
good
put out a
idea.
little 7-inch, and then where you can buy at least 3 of the special songs like that I want to put on there that are my own, and then have the rest on a digital purchase. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do CDs because CDs seem to be kind of like
Yeah.
the middle.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's A Thing Called Love. Not this thing
A
called
Thing
love.
Called
A
Love.
Thing Called Love. Okay. Have you Googled that? Has anyone used that?
I'm not sure.
Don't worry, we'll look
doesn't-
into it.
It doesn't matter if they have it because you can't copyright a title, right, Erin?
There's so many songs.
You're supposed to know
This is
the
why
answer.
she's not going to
Just
wander
call
into
it
that
Sergeant
area. Don't
Pepper.
I'm not
answer.
gonna wander
Don't
into
Not
answer.
yet.
that
Don't
area.
answer.
I met actually a music lawyer too. I've talked to him about stuff like this.
Okay. Okay, so look, we've only got a few minutes, so we've got to get through. How many? We need another
No, we
7?
have, we got 3
Okay.
good ones in here.
Erin, have you got, what is the 300 Reasons to Love New Orleans,
I
number
won't look for it.
297?
I have one. Well, the one they are type, but Saints fans that meet the Saints at the airport in the freezing cold and the rain after a loss. After a loss.
Okay.
After midnight.
midnight.
2
What
o'clock
do
in the
you
morning
call
after a
those people?
loss.
Idiots?
Rabid
I mean, what do you call
fans.
them?
Oh, baby, let me tell you, I will come over this table and I will hit you.
Sorry.
Are you one of these people?
Rabid.
You're a
Yes.
Rabid fan.
Yes.
You'll go to the airport.
I've been to the airport, yeah.
So she's.
So
and
what
it's-
do you
it's
all
1
call
all now.
yourselves?
So she's trying
Because
to.
I will use it if you call yourself
No, there's
something.
no group. It's just it's the Saints fan base.
Because if you call it right now, we'll put it in there.
Rabid fans.
Saints fan base.
Rabbits.
Fans.
R-A-B-I-D-D-S.
Rabid
Not rabbits. So you
Rabid
go to
fans.
the airport after midnight to welcome the Saints back, even after they've lost.
Yeah, especially I
Okay.
did it first in Chicago.
I hate to bring this back to alcohol, but how much have you had to drink on that particular occasion?
Oh, God. Well, we lost to the Bears. I was watching it at home. There's a good bit of alcohol involved.
So you're pretty drunk by the time you get in the car to drive to the airport as well.
No, but actually there was
Let's hope the team was
drive-
drunk too, for God's sake.
well, no, they were drunk.
They're professional.
Anyway. But no, there was this
athletes,
gap,
these
a
people.
large gap of time between the point that I said, after I stopped sobbing, that I said I'm going to the airport.
So you're very serious about
and
this.
you rabid Saints fan.
Okay.
And
That's
so
the word.
It
Rabid.
is
Okay,
rabid
so you're
Saints
in.
fans.
Okay, we have to move right
I
on.
want the
I'm running out
T-shirt
of
next
time.
year and
Okay.
everything.
We
It's going to be in the
fierce.
book. It's
Okay.
the Ravids.
C-Rock, do you have one over here?
Yep. Let's go.
Yeah, I got one. Every single gas station here has fried chicken, and it's better than any fried
yeah.
chicken at restaurants.
Gas
Oh,
station
it's
fried
called
chicken.
Golden Flake. What is it?
Yeah, they got crispy,
Brothers.
crunchy chicken. They got Yardbird, and then they have Brothers too. And it's like, what is going on? Why is the best fried chicken I've had in my life coming from a gas station mini mart? And it's
Gas station fried
Unexplainable.
chicken.
Flour.
It's
Okay, very
absolutely,
good.
you're right on that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Graham,
Paul
have you got
Boy's
one?
fried chicken and egg rolls.
Fried chicken, egg rolls. What?
Fried chicken and egg rolls.
You have to talk into a microphone.
Yeah, well, no, we have
This
the
is
go
our-
cups. Don't worry.
No, you can walk down with, if you're not in the French Quarter, you can have an actual glass of wine on the street in New Orleans.
That's how I
More,
can vote.
more alcohol.
You know,
See?
people always say, I
Graham
think you're
wants to
lawyer,
know.
so you understand that we don't have anti-open container laws. Right? I mean, they just never got around to passing a law saying don't do
No,
it.
when you go vote in my precinct, everybody for the most part has a rocks glass. Either the Mignon Faget
Oliver, have you
or,
got one?
Waterford.
Oliver doesn't have one. Okay.
I think voting and drinking are
Asher,
probably
have
a
you
good
got one?
thing these
Asher,
Oh,
what
days.
dear
happened to the Facebook thing? Are we off of
That's
Facebook?
another 17 hours.
Phone crapped out? Oh, no. Allison,
Did you vote?
do you have a reason to
Well-
love New Orleans? One of the 300. You've got 1 second to come up with it. Voodoo
Got
spirit.
voodoo in there.
You got voodoo?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, honey, that's called red wine.
Gumbo Zerbs on Holy Thursday.
Gumbo.
Gumbo Zerbs on Holy Thursday.
Gumbo Zerbs on Holy Thursday.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
Very
Yeah.
specific.
At Jookie
Leah
Chase.
Chase is-
And if you don't have Leah Chase on the list, you just
I
need
have
her
Miss
anyway.
Chase on there, of course.
Yeah, of
She's
course.
on
All right.
there, but I
Okay.
like
Oh,
her
and
Holy
we never
Thursday.
have to sacrifice
What
through
about-
Lent. I mean, really.
What about Liuzes by the
Lent.
track
I
during
the rest
Jazz
of the
Fest?
nation is like, oh my
Valentine's
God,
Day.
it's
That's
Friday, I
good.
can't eat meat. And we're like, well, I can have
Galactic
shrimp
at
po' boy,
Tipitina's on
catfish
Lundy
po'
Gras.
boy, anything.
You're getting
What
pretty
is
good
that
at
on
this.
the
That's
What's-
because
what's on
I know
Lundi Gras?
this city, baby.
This is good.
It's Zulu meets Rex on the riverfront on.
Oh
Lundi
yeah,
Gras,
I've
but
never
what
done.
else
I've never
does it?
done that before.
What is
I can't tell you.
Galactic?
Galactic plays at Tipitina's on Lundy Gras every
There you
year.
go.
That's super awesome.
Awesome.
It's really
See,
inside
this is why you
info
need a
there,
certain
yeah.
demographic to help
Yeah,
this out a little
right.
bit.
I feel like this is the one city in the country where you could be a full-time musician as an independent musician.
Hey, what about that right there?
That's what I'm
That's a pretty
grateful
long,
for.
kind
It's a
of.
run-on sentence,
But
but
how many
You can get
people do
better.
we want to know that for the ones that are making a living?
Well, they all
We'll keep it
know
quiet
Believe
now.
me, I think this is the city where if you're going to make money, it might be that you are a musician.
okay, so we've got to the end
What
of the
about
show.
the
Did we-
Napoleons and Bricados? You
I
ever
got
eaten
that.
those? Those
Done
are the
it.
Bricados.
Bricados.
Bricados is on there.
No, it's Bricadas.
Well, whatever.
Bricados,
You have
whatever,
St.
there's a line.
Joseph's. You have St. Joseph's Day on that list. St. Joseph Altars.
St. Joseph Altars
I know,
is good,
right?
but do we only do them?
That's
I've
why I
never
never give
heard
up
of that
alcohol for
anywhere in
Lent.
the world except here. Maybe that's another
You got
country.
Super Sunday, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
yes.
That's coming up. Isn't that this Sunday, by the way?
This Sunday.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. Okay, listen, everybody, we've got to get the hell
Got
out of
it.
here. We're
There you
moving
go.
on.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Yes.
What?
Glitter is always in season.
Yes, and you should never date a man
What
that
a
does not
great
like your
note to
glitter.
end on.
He does
Bingo,
not deserve
baby.
you.
Exactly.
Glitter. Okay. A
Not
perfect note to
worthy.
end on.
Will not do.
Okay, y'all. That is the end of Happy Hour for
This
this
is
week.
awesome. Love you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you
on the
for
show.
having us.
Erin Casey Hangartner. You can find out more about her by going to our website. It's neworleans.com. Morgan Molthrop has been here as well. We have information about him on our website. And the fabulous Samantha Pearl, who's going to Germany but is coming back. And thank God they have paper on the tablecloth
know.
here, for the tablecloth here. That's Happy Hour. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank you.
joining us.
Yeah.
Hey, Samantha, you want to play anything in the background or should we just go with our theme? You want to play? Okay. Hey, the producer of our show is Graham DePonte, who brings their own hip flask to a bar. You don't get much more New Orleans than that. Our associate producers are Alison Moon and April Stolf. Christian Unruh is our music director. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Asher Griffith is our Facebook live feed director. And Andrew Searock is our fact checker and social media connector. Our theme music was written by and was originally being played by Mitch Foreman at the beginning of the show, but now it's currently being played by the fabulous Samantha Pearl. If you'd like to be on our show, and you can sit around a table and either drink alcohol or not for about an hour, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. We can also find a lot of other shows we make here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death called Death the Podcast, which was named one of the top 40 podcasts in America in 2017, which was only last year, by the way. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and it's batonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos are taken by Alison Moon. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. If you've got a moment, take it to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street in New Orleans, where they have a 3-hour happy hour here every day and a great brunch on the weekends. Happy Hour is a production of I Know Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon will be back here next week. If you're looking for him in the meantime, go to andrewduhon.com. I believe he's playing in London this week, if you happen to be over there. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to be gone next week. Andrew Ward is sitting in for me and running the show. Do you know Andrew Ward? He is awesome. That's going to be a great show next week. So join Andrew here for that. I'll be back the week after for more Happy Hour. See you back here then. And thank you again to Samantha Pearl.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.